What's up, creative faces? Ella here on set from Creative Sound. In this video, we're gonna just go through like my process as to how I get started inside of Studio One. This video is really geared towards new beginners, people who just want to check out Studio One, see what's going on. I have the professional version, so if you are someone that is using the Artist or Prime, which is the free version, some of the things that I do may look a little bit different. So just to get started, um, first things first, this is the start page. So when you first launch Studio One, you have like this little cooler window here. To the left, you have all of your projects that you've worked on in the past. In the middle, it is synced with SoundCloud, so you can actually see like what's going on here. You can upload your music straight from here. It gives you really cool stats as to what's going on in regards to your account with SoundCloud. Right here, you can make a decision as to where you want your audio interface to send to right here in this section, which is really cool. And then to the right is the news feed. This is pretty cool. Anytime Personas makes or post a new blog on their website, it pops up here, and it's usually things geared towards sales, discounts, or whatever, or tips, tricks, things like that that they share, and it falls in right here. And then also demos and tutorials usually live here. For some reason, mine don't work, but there's like presets of other projects that comes inside of Studio One, so you can open that stuff and see what it looks like, you know, which is really cool. I was able to check that out when I first got started or whatever. But yeah, also the cool thing about Studio One is that it has a what's called a project page, which is your mastering. So once you mix a song, you can send it to a mastering page. As a matter of fact, you can have like 5 different songs or however many songs you want and send them to that specific page, and it updates that page like it's pretty much the mastering section, and it talks to all of your sessions, and you can update stuff from that page specifically. I'll have to do a separate video on that. I've done one in the past, but maybe I can do more so updated because it's been a while since I visited that page. But anyway, we're just going to get things started here. We're going to create a new project, and we're going to label this KOK mix. I'm going to bring in some files that was sent to me. This is actually a gospel project. Everything is acoustic, recorded in the studio, and these are my files. And so I'm gonna show you guys a trick that I do that kind of helps me get I guess a step ahead. I figured out the way that Studio One sets things up. So typically, like, I can go ahead and start something here, like, just go ahead and start a new page, right? As a matter of fact, let's do that. I'm looking at it, blah, 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 blah. All these settings is pretty cool. 44.1, 24-bit. Okay, that's great. Oh, okay, cool. We can rock with that. I'm going to go ahead and click here and just make sure that I'm saving this to the correct folder. Let's go here. All right. So this is the folder that I want to set up. Now, let me show you something. Yeah, let's go ahead and I'm just going to go ahead and let's just open that. Okay. Now, before I insert the files here, I'm going to show you something. So here's all of my WAV files. And then let's take this, select all that. Now, this is this session, right, that we just created, this here. I'm going to just take these, create a new folder. Now, what I found was, like, if I could just go ahead and just label this folder media, because that is the folder that is created once you create a new session, right? There's nothing in there. So I'm going to take this folder and just move it in here And so now all of my audio files is in here. So actually it's almost as if my files are already associated with this song. So I'm gonna take all of this here and grab that, throw that in there, and everything is immediate. I can actually begin to play this and it will play out. So while it's analyzing, I'm gonna show you guys something. So I'm gonna go ahead and save this, right? Now, if you notice everything saved, it didn't pop up a window saying, hey, do you want to save all of your files in this session folder or whatever? That's because I already did it. This is the folder that would have been generated when you create a new session, right? And I'm gonna show you that, like if I go here, see, all your media is here, and that's the way it is with all of everything you create in Studio One. It always create a folder called media, and that's where your audio. Now I went ahead and did that before I started on it and everything, because what would happen is if you had all your audio in here, and then in here it was going to create that media, right? And then it's going to ask you, do you want to save? What it was going to do was duplicate all your audio, and you don't want the goal is to keep your file as small as possible. I mean, you could have done it, like not, you could have not went the route that I just showed you, and it would have created this, and then you could go in and delete all your audio. I mean, you could do it that way as well, but I just figured, it just saves me time. All right, so inside of Studio One here, this is what everything looks like, and so it's always a good idea that everything is labeled, because I could just go in and say, okay, so this is the alto, okay, so this is associated with like a group or a choir, and I'm gonna just go and just find wherever I think the vocals are. Okay, so then here's my tenor. Right click and go ahead and find the pack photo, or Apple P is what I set it. So as you can see in here, even though I packed the folder, it's still, you'll see like the individual. No, actually, you won't see it. It's like it's disappeared. Like, okay, so where's the photo we just created, right? Which is this here. So I'm gonna just call this BGV, background vocal. So in order for it to pop up in your mixer section, you have to actually go in here and say add bus channel. And once you do that, as you can see, it added the channel here in your mixer. So now I can see it, and I'm able to control this channel, and I can put plugins and send it to an auxiliary or bus it to a effects channel, that type of thing, right? Mute, solo. So now we can see it. Cool. Now, going through everything, I guess I'm gonna go for the drums maybe. Okay, so here's the kick. There's an overhead. Time 2, time 3. There's a snare. And I can just eyeball this stuff and just say, okay, those are the drums, those are the vocals, that's the strings, that type of thing. So we're gonna go ahead and create and pack that. So that's my drums. Again, we're gonna create a bus channel so that it can pop up in my mixer section. Cool. So things like piano, it's usually like one track. I'll just leave that by itself. I won't add that to a pack folder or anything. And here's my roads, and here's my pads. I'll just usually just leave that like that. But if it's several of them, then I'll usually pack them. So like, for instance, let's see what this is. That's like it's like a pad or a road, so to speak. All right, I'm gonna just leave that right there for a second. I may pack it later on. This track, let's see what's going on here. Let's turn up the waveform, make it thicker. So if you guys were looking to how to do that, that's how you do that. I do that, and it doesn't do anything to the volume, even though it looked like that's what I did. Like, wait, you made it louder. No, it's just the view. You just make it thicker so that I can see. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I want to see if this track holds anything. If there's any audio in here, and it looks like there's nothing there. So it's a blank track. So I could just go ahead and delete that. Okay. So here's my drum folder, timpani. So I guess I can create a folder or a pack folder for like a loop or percussion. So there's the loop. There's a timpani. Okay, that's pretty much all I see as far as like the percussion or a loop. So I can go ahead and create a folder for that. And we can call this loop. How about that? Let's keep it simple. Just add this to a bus. All right. Now, okay, so this is color. So we're just going to take all of those and obviously pack that. Call that color. Yeah. So acoustic guitar, clean guitar. So because this is a clean guitar and then this is an acoustic, but they're actually two different guitars. So I'll leave the acoustic out, which is fine. I was going to pack them, but they're two different guitars because that means I would have to put two different types of like plugins or whatever, which is fine. All right. So with my drums, I usually like to put my drums here up top. You could do whatever you want. Everybody have different processes, but I just usually, I guess because I'm a drummer, so drums is always usually first. Let's see, what is this alt section? Okay, so this is a part of the BGV, which is down here. So we're just gonna throw that in there right quick. This is my bass. So my bass usually follows under my drums. These are my guitars. I like to bring the organ. Let's redo that. I didn't want to put the organ inside this folder, so we're just gonna bring it here in between there. Oh, actually, before the guitar, my pad. I'm gonna bring my piano before it. My bells is probably gonna fall like somewhere in here. So the way I position everything, here's my lead vocal. I'll put right there. My loops up here. I kind of position everything, not necessarily in the order of importance, but it's kind of like that in a sense. I actually like I because I used to play in the band, I kind of have this thing where, well, since I was the drummer, that's my number one. You know what I'm saying? My number one priority is to get the drums nice. I mean, it's everything will sound great once I get done with it, but the drums is first. I usually lock in. Okay, so then the loops, it's usually ran by a drum machine. You know what I'm saying? So it's right next to me, and then next to that or next to me, physical person, right, playing an instrument will be the bass player. So the bass is next, and piano and organ is usually following that, and then the guitar. You know what I'm saying? In theory, like in my mind, it's like, okay, here's my circle, my band circle. You know what I mean? Like my bandmates is going to be next to me. Let's see, what is this? A whistle pad. We already discovered what that was. That's like a road. And I think with these two here, I can just go in and start coloring. So to be able to color stuff is also pretty cool too. So like these are like, you know what I mean? Like I can just go ahead and just get things colored in visually to the eye. So going in, okay, the yellow is my drums. Bass is gonna be like, I don't know, like a brownish, vibe. Trying to make it more so distinctive because it's coming too close to that color, the yellow color. Yeah, so that's good. My piano. So my BGVs, I like it like that. So my lead vocal is gonna be like, since it's a female singing, like a pinkish. Anything to help you rememberize where everything lives. My guitars, I'm just gonna like lay with or colorize that one color. How about that? Piano, organ, we can kind of go with that. So my drums, let's I guess that's fine. Wanted to rethink that. So now it's really distinctive, okay? All right, so EP, let's definitely roll. Okay. All right, so now we're at a point where we can add our EP, in a folder. Again, create a bus. We're just gonna label it roads. There's my pads. Pad effects. It looks like it's only in the beginning. Yeah, okay. And then my flute and my bell. Okay. String. I kind of want the rows like up here. Guitar. Okay. So look like we have a good balance. I may move something later on. But actually it's looking like these 3 or 4 has like the same vibe. Like they all some sort of string. I guess my flute is okay for that color. All right. So as you can see, you know, that's kind of how I do things. So like everything is labeled, everything is in folders, but you know, there's also colors associated to help me find things a little bit quicker. So the next step is the rule of thumb for me is to bring everything down like a few dBs down, because usually when stems are printed out like this, everything is going to go beyond 0. So let's unsolo anything. Now the vocal is a little bit off. But the only way we're able to do this is if we find the tempo. So what I usually do is okay, let's bring it down. Let's bring everything down just a tad bit more. So on my keyboard, I have tap to tempo dedicated to T. That's how I have mine set up. And you can go in and set your own key commands. And it's basically going to preference and keyboard shortcuts. And then you can just say tap, bam. You know what I mean? And then do what you got to do, right? All right, so 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So look like 99 or 98. So I'm gonna turn on my metronome. Well, actually, it's already on. Okay, so it's probably 99. Now I look for like the grid. So this is pretty cool that the wave is transparent. You know, the actual region, the wave. I can see the grid behind it, and it kind of gives me a good idea as to like where my bars are falling. And also what I like to do is go like mid and then to the end of the track to see if the metronome is still lined up. Okay, so it's not matching up. So let's try 100. Okay, so this is 100. Yep. So if I can hear the metronome at the end of the song and it's still on, pretty much there, we're going with 100 BPM. So I started out with tap the tempo, and then I fixed it just by adjusting the the tempo here to make it perfect. So this is 100 BPM. I'll go ahead and save that. Studio One also automatically saves like every 3 minutes, I believe. That's how I had it set. If you need more time, like you don't want it to save that often, you can definitely adjust the time in preference. Um, so, and I'm just throwing stuff out here and there that I feel may be helpful. Things that you guys have been asking me. Um, so yeah, so let's fix the vocal. Yeah, vocal sounds like it's off. But the music sounds like it's synced. Now, I think maybe the vocal is probably off a bar. No, it's not. It's too late. Let's go back a couple of. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's move that back a little bit. Okay, that sounds right. So, I took care of that just by, like, the further you zoom in, the better you can see, like, the grid. You can move things in increments. That's how that works. So I could take this and, you know, and then at this point I can just go in and like make my cuts and changes, things like that. I do that sometimes and sometimes I don't. Like this here, I can just go ahead there and cut that, change my tool back. So up here you have your tool section, and you can switch between these different tools to give you what you need. It's a good idea to get into key commands and shortcuts, memorize what it does. To change between these here, I have mine set up to change between the numeric number on the top of my keyboard. So 3 is cut. So if I hit 3, it's automatic, cut. There's erase. I rarely use that tool, but it's there. And then 5 is your pencil. You also have different options. Anytime you see like this little arrow, like on the bottom right, I guess, you have different options you could choose between. And then 6 will be, these I don't use. Now this one is your stretch. You can stretch and bend audio using this tool. Yeah, it's a bend tool. anytime you're in the bend mode, actually, that's when that tool becomes useful. Um, and then next to that is your, what is this? Listen to. I don't use that. I don't use that tool, but I do use this. I do use the strip to silence sometimes, and then here's your audio bin. See, these audio bin and this tool works kind of hand in hand. I guess that's a info view. I don't use that either. So I mean, it's just, it's cool that these tools up here for you guys that do use them. This is quantized, and it gives you a menu of other things going on. So that's how that looks. And then you can change your quantize resolution here. You can say, I want to change this to sample rate. As far as your time base, I usually leave it at bars. That's fine. Time linear is fine for me. And then your snap is adaptive. I like to leave it at adaptive. Adaptive works better for me for what I need to do. Just moving stuff around is just, it's perfect. And then snap to grid. I have that checked, or I can take snap to grid off. Well, this is snap to grid, but this is another, like a toggle on and off. Snap to grid here, or snapping. If you turn that off, that's how you able to slip. You can slip your audio, without it snapping. So like when you guys see me adjust the lead vocal, everything was snapping, but I could have totally turned that off. And then this is your ripple, which is really cool for you guys that are like, I actually use this tool for me. I associate it with like commercial blogging, not blogging, but like podcasts or something like that. Like, well, I guess it just depends on what you're doing. But like quick editing is really what I'm getting at. Quick editing, say for instance, you're doing something and you are you need to erase this in between here and erase all of the space, but you want the audio to shift forward. Like say like you want all of this here. Let's see if I can switch my tool. Say you want this to shift forward after I delete this section and just keep going boom, 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 boom. That's what this is for. This toggle ripple edit. And I love that tool. Man, that tool saves me a lot of time instead of like going in and doing this and then having to move this over. You know what I'm saying? Like that is just that's a lifesaver there. So this is your auto scroll. So say for instance if it gets down here, yeah, so auto scrolls on. So if you want to turn that off, I oftentimes toggle between that. That way, like when I play the audio, I can just scroll back and forth like I need to. Because if you do that, if this is on, then your it won't let you go past what's in view, basically. So if this is going on in view, you're not going to be able to scroll past that. So that's how that works. And then we have what's called scratch pad. Scratch pad is just it's self-explanatory. You have like an extra window where you can throw audio over here and kind of play with stuff, see how it works. Now I will say this: scratch pad is associated with the actual channel. So if you make any changes like here, like plugins or volume changes, panning or whatever, it is associated with the main head. You know what I'm saying? The head of the channel. But as far as audio editing, things that you do over here, it's just what you do over here, right? So just keep that in mind. But it's a cool feature, just to see how things play out, Yeah, so that's cool. Um, and then your video player. It's basic, simple. All right, so that's how that works. Let's get out of that. And then of course over here in this section here is where everything lives as far as your scroll, your browsing situation. All your instruments live here. I use this program to produce music quite often. All of my instruments live here. All of your effects is over here in this section. You can have favorites. It also records your recent plugins that you use. So these are obviously the recent stuff that I use. And here's my favorites. The cool thing about Studio One is it saves thumbnails. So if you have a third party plugin, obviously it won't say it's you have to save the thumbnail for third party plugs. But any native plugs, automatic like this one, this EQ is native, so I don't have to do anything extra there. But with this one, I had to save the thumbnail. This one should have a thumbnail. I don't know why it does it, and that's a favorite. So, um, say for instance, I put this here, and I'm just throwing stuff on here. Just kind of show you guys how to create thumbnails. I'm also like, there's a million things going through my head, trying to think what courses maybe next. So I'm trying to get to everything. So in here, you're gonna hit this down arrow here and say update, plug in thumbnail, and as you can see, now that's the new thumbnail. I'm gonna hit I, or I can hit I from here to get to another section while inside of the arranger view. I'm gonna go ahead and deactivate this. I'll remove it. And the cool thing is, say I want that plugin there, but I want to deactivate it or disable it for the time being because I'm comparing, you know, or I want it there because I think I may use it later on. You can just go ahead and disable it. But in this case, I'm just going to remove it because I don't need it. I'm sorry, bypass. Bypass is what you would do to like just bypass the plug or whatever. Disabling will actually offload, which is cool actually. So if I disable it, it'll offload it, which means it's not using any. I mean, when you bypass a plugin, it's not really using CPU as well, but um, it just depends on which one. I feel like there's a few things in Studio One. They cover. I guess they cover all their bases. They have a few things in here that does the same thing, but two or three different things are achieving the same exact thing. And I guess that depends on how you look at it. Like for instance, if I like the group, I guess like if I was to go to drums, so say like I was adjusting the drums. So still okay, so we have grouping in here, right? So if I click this, it selects everything. This is your group. If I need to make like change, say like I want to select something here, it's gonna select everything in the folder, right? If I want to delete that, that's fine. Okay. Like, oh, let's do that again. And say I could just go to one of these tracks and just fade. You know what I'm saying? Like that's group. That's folder grouping. I guess that I guess that's but see we also have something else that they added in here specifically for group. So it's like if you don't want to use this feature, you can use the new feature, the new group feature. Now I haven't really used it. Maybe a couple of times just to get a feel for it. So Now activate group. Oh, by the way, if there's something inside of um Studio One that maybe perhaps you've seen another YouTuber talk about, and you wondering like, okay, so he's talking about grouping, but I don't see that in here. This is where you would go and grab that, and you just have to turn on different things from here. So see that? So your grouping is down here. Now I guess grouping is cool because I can go in and just say, um, I can like take a couple of tracks. I guess I would need to create a group or whatever. And say I want these two, and then I want this here. Like I select that, and I can group that. You know, have those group like just beyond what's in the folder. Like has nothing to do with the folder. Um, this section here, like that's just associated with the folder, right? But the grouping that they added, like I just explained it. Yeah, so it's like that. But then we also have VCA faders, which is sort of like grouping, but it has a different vibe to it. VCA fader is it's a little bit different. It's grouping, but it's a little bit different. The behavior is different. Let's put it like that. Um, let's see, I turn this on. Also we have notes, which is below all of the tracks. I'm looking to activate the notes, which I don't see. It's interesting. I don't see my notes. Where is my notes? Hmm. Okay, channel notes. So you can make notes. This is also I was gonna say game changer. I mean, for me it is to be able to write notes. You know, in the track itself, which is which is cool. It's a cool feature. VCA, I have to turn that on as well. So these things are not on by default. So you have to actually turn them on. Input controls. Now, now this is pretty cool because this is where you can go ahead and take care of your stage gain here. And um then you have your polarity switches here, which is really cool. So all of that is at the tip. Like you don't like what we had to do before was get the mix tool and put that, you know, on the top of each track. Where's my mix tool? Yeah, we have to grab this little guy right here and put that at the tip of the track. And that's how we was gain staging. But we don't no longer need to do that. We can handle the gain staging using these controls. Pretty cool stuff there. I love it. I feel like there's a lot more that I can share with you guys. But this is just the basic stuff. Just getting started. As far as mixing anyway, doing like making beats is a little bit different. I mean, but it's the same. But you know, obviously, I will be showing you instruments and the different features that Studio One can handle in terms of making beats. I will be showing you something totally different right now. But this is just a basic mix, and I'm ready to get started and get this going because I have a deadline, but I just just want to like kind of show you guys. Oh yeah, something that's pretty cool here is this as well. So as you can see, you can change how you look at plugins if you wanted to pop up above the track like you just see me do, or you can have them like load in on the side. And it's actually, wait, I never used that feature. Okay, so when you hit this here, your plugins pop up on the side, and I'm guessing that's because is if you want more real estate up here above it, then I guess that feature would come handy. I rarely use that feature. I like the plugins to pop up above it. That's kind of my deal. Like I just kind of I like it like that. Um, Also you can collapse these things as you guys just seen me do, just playing around, clicking on things. Um, when you click on a channel, obviously everything will change. I guess you have to double click. I mean, it's real cool because you can see the levels as I play this track. So like definitely for mixing, um, you can kind of get an overall level like a console pretty much. All right. So some things I obviously have to fix. Um, I feel like this could be a series. You know, I've done gospel mixing or whatever in the past, and this is a new one that I have to go in and kind of like dissect and just kind of make it um kind of clean it up and bring it up because it's going to be released on CD, um, iTunes, digital distribution, as well as um I forgot where else it's going to be released, but yeah. So it's preparing this mix. Um, I guess my plug-in choices for you know my whole process of how to get it polished. I guess it could be a series. Now, if you made it this far listening to this video, watching this video, should I say, um, if you feel like I should do a series and you'll be one that kind of like um, follow through with my process or whatever, please let me know in the this description area. If you will be someone that will look forward to something like that. So so what I'll basically do is, um, when I get ready to like start mixing drums, I could do a video. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and start mixing now, like really soon. But I don't mind going back showing you guys. Like, I guess if I get enough responses, I can always go back and show you guys my process, like what I do, like why I used that plugin or why I will use a certain plugin, depending on how far I am in the mix. All right. I appreciate you guys for watching. If Studio One is something that you want, I've been using Studio One for, I would say like 4 years, probably more than 4 years, maybe 5 years. It's been a while. I've been in Studio One ever since 3.0 came out. So we are now currently in 4.3 something like that. Probably another update that is due to come out pretty soon by the time you are watching this. But man, hands down, mixing in Studio One to me, in my opinion, is like the best. I've seen them just grow, and I love it. I love mixing in Studio One. It's the best to me, in my opinion. I've used Pro Tools in the past. I've used Logic. Logic was the program I used before, like right before this. I switched over to Studio One from Logic. Um, what else did I use? Those are like the main programs that I were was serious, you know, heavy using those platforms before I moved over to Studio One, and Studio One is by far like the best in my opinion in terms of mixing the master. Now making music, that is subjective. That's just different, and even mixing and mastering is subjective as well. You know, it's just all preference based. But in my opinion, from what I've seen and worked with, in the past, Studio One is hands down my favorite. You know, but you can achieve the same thing in any other DAW that you have. So if you are watching this video and you are a Pro Tools person, right, or if you're a Cubase person, um, it's pretty much the same concept. You know, pretty much the same concept. If I come over here and adjust the volume, it's going to be the same thing for all platforms. Just go over there and just adjust the volume. That's it. It just look different, but they all the same. You know. All right, so you can deactivate, like you can control the visual. Like I don't really mess with this that much because as you can see, some things are grayed out. That's because it's associated with the folder. So once I um, expand this folder, now I can see this has been enabled again. You know, but it's cool. Like I can see like what's going on. I glance at it here and there, but it's not a real big deal. Um, so now that I have the BPM good, everything's lock and paste, I can go ahead and take advantage of the blocks here or the arranger. Like I can say, okay, this is my intro. For instance, let's snap this. This is where snap comes in play. Like, okay, let's snap that, and let's say this is something else here. This is something else, and I could change this. Right. This is good for like keeping everything labeled or just knowing where everything is, to be able to jump to the bridge instead of like, you know, trying to find it or whatever. So I use a range. And also if I need to like duplicate or copy or move something, usually I can just grab this here and I can do something like that. You know what I mean? And it just took that all out. Or I could have just used the duplicate command and it would have duplicated that. Right? Like stuff like that. Or if I want to like, you know, duplicate, boom. It's like stuff like that, guys. It's just so quick. It's so easy. I'm like, wow, I love it. Um, I'm just trying to think of anything else I can share with you guys. So obviously all of your information, arranging information will fall over here. You can see what's going on. Um, Something else I've noticed that I thought was cool. So say for instance, uh, say for instance I did something like this, and I discovered that the chorus is also the verse, right? So I can go at the edge of the verse and drag it out, and it overwrites the chorus. Or I could just drag this out here and then it shortens the chorus. Stuff like that. I just think it's cool instead of like doing like that, you know. if I need to do that, how about I just grab this and just move it back, or just do like that. And as you can see, of course, it corresponds with my action here over here. You don't see the verse anymore because I got rid of it. Like stuff like that, guys. It's like, oh man, this is cool. I love it. I can go ahead and change the name. Of course, I could change the color. I get excited about stuff like that. I don't really talk about it because it's not really a topic, I guess, but it's there. I use it a lot, you know, and it's cool stuff here. You also have markers, so you can set, you know, your start. And this is helpful because when you begin to start bouncing things like MP3 or Wave, I can show you that now. Is when things get pretty interesting. When you get to that point, you could say, um, I want to export between the start and end, but I can have other markers. I can add more markers, and then I can go between those, and it just be a list of markers between those markers. In this list, and that type of stuff is great for, like, if you're doing cues, commercial cues or some sort of music cues, and like, say, like, you're a production guy, you can just go ahead and have everything like cued out, you know, and then you can go in and just make sure everything is on the marker, and you can export stuff between markers instead of going back in and saying, okay, creating a range here. Okay, I want this section to export, and then go back in and export it. And keep in mind, you can do that because there's an option here that says between loop, or cycle. This is the cycle, the range that I created, and I can export between, this area that I selected. But with markers, it's automatic. Like, you can just like keep it going, or I could say between each marker. Like, it do it automatically. Like, you don't even have to come in here several times to bounce or export something. It'll just export between mark all your markers. Like, that's just brilliant. Like, I love it. It's like a quick workflow. It's fast. That's the reason why I use Studio One so much, because of things like that. It's just crazy. And then over here, you can, you have different options between file types. If I want to change sample rate, I can, and this is how you uh, upload to SoundCloud if you so choose. This will be how you do that, right? Um, any other options I can show you? Um, I just I really never use any of these, but it's there. You know, I sometimes I will need to, bypass sometimes knowing that those options are there. It's cool because when I think about like what I want to do, I can say, you know what, I wish I could do this, and then go in here and say, oh, okay, or I can click use real time process. I actually want to listen to the song as it exports because I love it so much, or it's a way to check your mix as it bounces, just to make sure everything is doing well. So you can just turn that on, which is cool, you know. But I usually don't do that. I just bounce it down, uncheck that, and it bounced down really quick. Um, if you bounce down something, I use this several times. Import the track, like, I want to just bounce down something specific, and I wanted to insert back into the project because I want to do further process. Like, I want to, like, I don't know, like, uh, just put some really cool effects on it. You know what I mean? I have I have had reasons to use this before. Yes, indeed. You know. So yeah, really cool stuff. I, guys, if you have any questions, just let me know. I'm just sitting here just trying to go through everything, and it's like every time I try to end a video, new things pop up. So if you have any questions, if this was helpful, please let me know. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and give it a thumbs up. Again, this is Ella from Creative Sound. Remember, music is art. You're the artist. Paint your picture. Stay creative without rules.